I think we had a great race. Our gap to our competitors halfway through the race was, 15 seconds or something. So yeah, more lucky that there was some safety cars that kind of brought them back into the race. But we're hopeful. It's another race. It's a different weekend, so I wouldn't say we're confident that things are going to be exactly like they were. And I expect again a bit more competition from Ferrari this weekend. And we saw how quick Red Bull have been. So clearly they're not out of it. They're just as fast. I think when things are perfect, like they were in qualifying, we have an advantage. But they're certainly not far behind.
I think confident that we can be competitive. Yes, it's obviously a very different layout to Melbourne, but I think last year we had as a team a pretty competitive weekend. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do. But I think we expect to be competitive. But I think also in Melbourne, the gap to our rivals surprised us, and I don't think that was because we necessarily excelled. I think some of our rivals didn't maximise what they had, because in practice they looked much more competitive. So
there is no point to think about the full season yet, because I think Australia is very different to here. Now I know that we are not the quickest at the moment, but we just try to move on from Australia with the things that we learned, and just keep on trying to improve the car. Now some weekends probably it will work out a bit better than others, but it's a bit too early to say really. I mean, we know that we have work to do, and that's what we focus on.
In terms of Christian and the helmets, they've honestly both been pretty supportive through this process since coming into the team. And I think with the way Melbourne was, they're pretty understanding as well. I think all of us, we all want the same thing, and we're all trying to do the right steps to basically achieve that.
Are McLaren's that far ahead?
Unfortunately, yes. For the time being, they're doing an amazing job, and we need to try and find out what that little trick is that they've found, because they've even sort of extended the gap on last year, which is pretty damn impressive. And I think afterwards, I think it's anybody's game between us, Red Bull and Ferrari. I don't think Ferrari really showed their true potential last week. I think things went slightly away from them, and I'm sure once Lewis gets his head around the new car, he'll be fully on it as well. So it was a good weekend for us, but we're not going into this weekend expecting that it'll be plain sailing for another podium.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new format, definitely different compared to Melbourne. So it's gonna be important to be on top of it already straight on, because having only one free practice and then jumping into qualifying straight away, it's different. But definitely, Melbourne was a good boost of confidence. I think in Melbourne it was a little bit too tense as well. So especially when it was time for qualifying. And so now definitely I feel a lot more relaxed and a lot more in control of the situation. But yeah, definitely there's still lots to learn, but really looking forward to this weekend.
I think for all of Formula One, not just myself as well, Thailand's an amazing country, and I'm sure people who have actually been to Thailand will vouch for that. I'll be excited to hopefully one day show my colleagues the culture of Thailand, the food. It will be interesting, the heat. That's one area which it might become a Singapore 2.0, but all the more for it. So on my side, just doing everything I can to make that happen.
An even tougher weekend now for us that we've changed teams, because obviously it means we're gonna only have one session, to get up to speed quickly with the car. At the same time, I'm ready for it. I already learned and try to take as many conclusions as possible from Australia in what I need to improve with the car, with my feeling, with the setup of the car, to try and put it hopefully a bit more to my liking, and see if it works. If it works around China, it will be great news, because it's a very different track to Australia and to Bahrain, and it would give us another good example. So fingers crossed, and see if it works well.
It's a great way to start the season, pick up some good points. For sure, it feels good. And we'll see, where we how we look this weekend. It's early days to say, how we look competitive wise, like relative to others and stuff, just after one race. So different kind of track this weekend, different characteristics, and I think we'll learn a lot more.
I think we started a little bit stronger last year, especially in quali, so it's going to be definitely more difficult. We were P3 in wet and P3 in dry with the two qualifyings here. I think it's going to be a challenge to repeat that kind of result, but we will try our best and try to score the first points for me of the year. But looking forward. It's one of the best layouts of the year. One of the best racetracks for us in terms of driving of the championship. So looking forward.
It was tricky. It was challenging for everyone. I think it was difficult circumstances as they come. Wet, then damp, half wet, half dry, then dry and drizzle. I mean, pretty much every condition was covered more or less. A tricky race. It was one, where you needed to obviously to survive, make no mistakes, keep it on the tarmac, and that's what we managed to do. Made some good strategy decisions, pitted at the right moments when others didn't, and therefore, obviously we rewarded ourselves with that great result.
I was complaining from the break since lap 1. I had a problem, was clear, I'm not going to go into detail what was the problem, but we had a problem. Suspension, that's a question that I think we also struggle inside the team to understand exactly what happened there. What is clear for us is that there was a contact, I think, with Nico, racing incident completely, was a very small contact in T3. We were side by side. He had a small snap and touched my rear tire. I didn't even feel at the moment, but then rewatching the race, we saw that. So maybe that's one of the options.
There are many things that we can that we can learn from this first weekend. Obviously, many things haven't gone the way we wanted them to go, but it's only the first race of the season. We've learned many things since then. And I'm sure that we'll put all the bits together for this weekend and we'll do a step forward. I still remain convinced that the potential of the car is much better than what we have seen for that first weekend.
Fred's very engaged and we sit down and talk about the different ways we want to approach things. And I'm still learning of how Fred and the team likes to operate and how they react to certain things you say and trying to incorporate just lots of positive energy in all those discussions.
What I take from Australia is really our performance. Qualifying Q3, managed to get it in the top 10, run most of the race in the top 10, and was an unfortunate outcome, but it did bring us some confidence as a team that we do have some speed, we'll be in the fight, and we know we'll be in the mix for points this year on many occasions.
I'm extremely looking forward to it. My first sprint weekend in Formula One. Have to be on it from the get-go, and I look forward to that. The circuit looks very cool. It's resurfaced, so we'll have to see how things have changed. But I'm excited to get started.
Most important thing was we had a good pace last week. Obviously, to be honest, it's completely different track here, and it got different characteristics of corners, which is much longer corners, which was a bit more like 90 degrees in Australia. Here's a bit more 180 degrees corners. So, and to be honest, the last day we struggled with those kind of corner characteristics. So I'm expecting it will be a difficult race weekend for sure, more than last weekend.
I would say that we were surprisingly faster than we thought. Looking at Bahrain, of course, it's hard to really understand where you're at in the midfield. You don't know how much everyone is hiding or not. So, but yeah, going into Melbourne, the car was really good, and straight from FP1, I think I had a really nice feeling with the car. I was quite comfortable, and I was as close as UK as I wanted to be. So I think there was a lot of positive in terms of pure performance. Yeah.
It's not a surprise that it was a tough weekend for us, a disappointing one. We were hoping obviously to get more performance. It was a bit of a surprise and a bit of a shock for us all, but we will keep working hard. Obviously it's only one practice session in this weekend, but we are going to be trying to assess what we have and trying to adjust it as much as we can and optimize, the car we have.
It was a difficult weekend for sure. I didn't make my life easy with the mistakes and clumsy mistakes that I did of the weekend. But I'm glad that we finished the race. Maybe not as competitive as we would have liked, but lots of data gathered and collected now. And now hopefully we have a dry weekend to see what we've learned and see if we can put it into practice.